You're listening to The Bible Hits Different, where Bible stories hit your life right where you are. I'm Robert.
And I'm Grace. And today's story is for anyone who's ever thought, I've messed up too much. There's no way God could use someone like me.
We're diving into the story of Saul, who became Paul. And when I say this guy had a past, I mean it. If you think your story disqualifies you, this one is going to wreck that idea in the best way.
Let's set the stage. Saul wasn't just skeptical of Jesus, he was violently against him. He hunted down Christians, had them arrested, approved their deaths. He saw Jesus' followers as dangerous, and he was on a mission to wipe them out.
He was educated, respected, zealous. To people back then, Saul looked like he was fighting for truth, but he was actually missing it entirely.
And here's where it gets real. Saul genuinely thought he was doing the right thing. That's what makes this story so human. How many of us have been sincerely wrong?
One day, Saul's headed to Damascus with permission to arrest more believers. But then, everything shifts. A blinding light hits, he falls to the ground, and he hears a voice.
Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?
He asks, "Who are you, Lord?" And the voice responds,
I am Jesus, the one you are persecuting. That moment, silence, shock, realization. This wasn't just a dramatic vision. It was Jesus, alive, confronting the very man who had been attacking his followers.
And Saul, he's blinded. For 3 days, he doesn't eat, doesn't drink. He just sits in the dark, physically and spiritually. His entire world just flipped.
While Saul's in that darkness, God speaks to another man, Ananias. He tells him, go to Saul, lay hands on him so he can see again.
Ananias is like, are we talking about the same Saul? He's terrified. Because this man is literally killing people like him.
But God says, go, this man is my chosen instrument.
That right there, chills. The guy who was destroying the church is now the one who's going to build it. That's what God does. He doesn't just forgive, you get repurposed.
Ananias goes. He finds Saul, lays hands on him, and something like scales fall from Saul's eyes. He can see again, but he's not the same.
He gets baptized. He starts preaching Jesus. And everyone is confused. They're like, isn't this the guy who was wrecking churches last week?
Exactly. That's what transformation does. It confuses people. It confronts their assumptions. Because when God changes someone, it's not just behavior, it's identity.
Over time, Saul takes on a new name, Paul. And that name becomes known across history, not as a murderer, but as a missionary, a church planter, a letter writer, a bold, broken, redeemed follower of Jesus.
He wrote nearly half the New Testament. The man who once tried to erase Jesus ended up spreading his name farther than almost anyone else.
That's not a glow-up, that's a resurrection. And it tells us something loud and clear. Nobody is too far gone.
You might be listening to this thinking, you don't know my story, my choices, my addictions, my reputation. But here's the truth. God does, and he still chooses you.
Saul didn't clean up first. Jesus met him mid-mess, on the road, while he was actively doing damage. And still, God had a plan.
Maybe your past is loud. Maybe people don't believe your change yet. But you don't need their permission to live transformed.
When God rewrites your story, the old chapters don't disappear. They just stop being the end.
Paul's story reminds us, your worst days don't cancel your purpose. They just set up the plot twist.
So if you've ever wondered if you're too far gone, don't. God's been flipping stories like yours since Acts 9.
Thanks for hanging with us today on The Bible Hits Different. If this story challenged you or encouraged you, send it to someone who needs that reminder too.
Next time, we've got another story that proves no one is too broken for breakthrough.
Because when Jesus steps in, everything changes.